Welcome to my virtual campfire, everybody. You got the RV Wingman here, and today we're going to talk about a popular and powerful American dream, the dream of RV ownership. It's a great dream, it is, but chasing that dream can lead you into a trap, and that's today's subject. This young couple did what a lot of folks their age are doing. They wanted to live simply, to raise their daughter, and start a life together in an RV. It was a great dream. They picked out a beautiful destination trailer. They had decent credit, and they were ready. Then they go to Camping World, but then came the roadblock. Sorry, you don't qualify. It wasn't because they had bad credit. They really had no credit history. But don't worry, that's when Camping World made a suggestion. Get a family member to buy it for you, and then you guys work it out. Good idea, right? Well, that's exactly what they did. They brought in the grandfather, a man almost 90 years old, a man who would never live in the RV, but was approved for, wait for it, a 20-year loan. Almost 90 years old, getting a 20-year loan. Now, I'm no lawyer, but it sure sounds like a straw man purchase to me, a loan that I believe never would have been approved if the lender had known the truth. The couple's intentions, they were good. But good intentions can still lead to disaster, especially when loan documents are hidden, the AC doesn't work, and you got a major roof leak and grandpa holds the title to your home. If you're dreaming about RV life, you need to hear this story, not to scare you, but to help you slow down and think. I'd really love to hear your thoughts on this one, folks. Do you think this sounds like a straw man deal to you? Do you think U.S. Bank would have approved this loan if they knew the full story? Drop a comment down below. And Camping World, you're invited to respond as well. And before you buy anything, scan the QR code you see down here on the screen or click on the link in the description below. These are free resources that could help you make a smarter decision and avoid a story like this one. Again, please like today's video, give it a thumbs up, leave a comment, and subscribe to the channel. You never know when a story like this could save someone you love. So guys, it looks like you've got your hands full with your little baby behind you, but I appreciate, we've done quite a bit of emailing back and forth, and we started out with you leaving a voicemail message. Let's go back to the very beginning of your Camping World nightmare. What did you guys buy, and why did you end up getting it at Camping World? What's kind of the story on that?
So Camping World is just kind of the biggest RV salesperson around here, and we really didn't know much about Camping World other than the fact that we had bought a 2024 GeoPro from them once, and the GeoPro worked out pretty good other than it did have an AC issue. Other than that, everything was fine on the GeoPro. So but that was before we had a daughter, and so we went back to Camping World and we explained to them, hey, we would like to trade in, we want something bigger, we're about to have a kid, we're going to live in this full time. We need more space. So we got the Salem Hypnosphere Roost 43. It's a $120,000 unit.
That's a big unit. Now, hang on just a second. Casey, can you scoot to your right just a little bit? Just a little bit so we can see more of you. There you go. There you go. Just a tad. Okay, so you moved up. It sounds like you got a big unit. So what happened? I mean, and when did you buy it? How long ago?
So we only bought it about
in November of last year.
Okay.
It first started off with, they gave us the unit with the lights weren't attached to the switch, so we couldn't turn them on and off. The washer wasn't plugged in. There was no water filter around the water, there was no gasket around the water filter. So every time we would turn on the water outside, water would spew everywhere. We would call them in, and around the first month is whenever we told them about the AC is not working, but it was cold outside, so we didn't have that much of a problem.
So hang on. I'm just trying to get my brain wrapped around this. Yeah. So you guys buy it in November, so it's winter time. And where are y'all located? What state?
South Carolina.
Okay, so it can get winter time in South Carolina, so it's cold. You don't need the air conditioning. How was your inspection, your final walkthrough? It sounds like they didn't do a whole lot to show you how everything worked and that everything was campground ready.
They did do a walkthrough, but it was more of like, when you go to the zoo and they just point and tell you what it is and then walk away. It wasn't really helpful. And the things that I did need help with, like I seriously didn't know, he didn't know either. Like we didn't know how to even plug in one HDMI to the TV because they mounted the TV so close to the wall. You can't pull the TV out, up, or anything, and I can't get my hand underneath it. And he was like, I don't know either. And then I asked him how to turn on the docking lights. I don't know. That's the.
So are y'all in the RV now?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You are. And so what's the problem with it? I mean, because quite frankly, seriously, when you called the other day, y'all were pretty hot, both of you.
Oh,
And,
yeah.
What happened? I mean, and what happened? And I guess it sounds like you kind of blew your lid.
Yes, sir, I did. It's specifically because after approximately 8 months of waiting for them to come fix all 3 ACs that were broken in a brand new unit that I spent $100,000 for. They came after 8 months, fixed everything, but they didn't seal the last AC for some unknown reason. Of course, that same day it rains, and over 9 gallons of rainwater pours in through the back of my brand new camper, all over the loft, all over the slide, all over the TV, and then all over my personal items as well. Camper World said that it was my fault because I should have cleaned up the water sooner. It was like 2 a.m. and I was in bed with my daughter and my wife. So I don't understand why I would have been right then and there cleaning that mess up.
Do they not accept responsibility for not sealing the AC unit?
No.
What did they say when you said, "Hey, I didn't have a bucket to catch all 9 gallons of water when it came in, but you should have not even left the job unless you finished it."
They said it happens more often than I would think.
And like that was
that makes it, to me, that makes it worse.
Yeah, that was the shop manager that said that. And then after he was like, "Well, if you would have cleaned everything up on time," I was like, "Let me talk to your general manager." And then the general manager said that they would Jerry MacGyver it until it's right.
I told him I didn't want anything jerry-rigged. I want it fixed. I want it fixed the right way, how it should have been whenever I originally spent $120,000 on this unit.
Why did you buy is this y'all's first RV? I mean, your new RV?
Other than the tiny roost, or the tiny Geo Pro, yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's our first big one.
So, but Camping World has not lived up to your expectations.
Not at all. Even though we bought the biggest, most expensive camper, and then I went into the store and spent an extra 10 grand on just random stuff they had in the store, their general manager came out and thanked me after my purchases, but then we immediately get treated like this, right after.
So what have they done? Where are you now with this situation? Is the water damage, were y'all able to clean it up like it never even happened, or?
So as far as the water damage, there's just a little bit of bubbling on the floor. I have no clue how much water got into the slide because I can't really get back there and check. And even if I did, I don't know really what I'm looking for. But the floor, and there's a disconnect where the slide meets the actual floor of the unit or whatever.
Yeah, where it goes down.
I don't know how much water has gotten into there either because I don't know how to properly get into that, and I don't want to either. I'm just worried about the mold in my personal items at this point, but he did fix the ACs, I think, but the 2 ACs in the back, the ones that were leaking, don't even feel like they're really working. The only one that feels like it's working is the one in my bedroom, and I feel like they did that on purpose just so I would stop bitching about the AC's not working and it's working in my room.
So you still don't know if you have AC, and it hadn't. You haven't even tried to turn them on yet? I mean,
it turns on and it blows, but
it's still 80 degrees.
The 2 out there blow 80-degree air, even though it's set to 60 degrees.
And what do they say?
They said it's a new AC unit, and that they already accepted. They already went through with the warranty and everything, and this was my AC unit.
So this is as good as it's going to get for you. That's what they're saying.
It's going to get for me.
what are your concerns in terms of, I think with that little baby, with your child there on the bed behind you, that would have to be a concern. Kayce, what are you worried about?
I'm just worried about, like, because we also have someone staying in that loft. I'm just worried, like, if she's out there playing, the floor is just going to collapse and he's going to fall on top of her because of the decomposition of the materials. And not only that, but her just, like, crawling around on the floor and, like, just breathing in potential mold. Because I don't know if it's molding or not.
Wayne, you were concerned about the mold, I think, weren't you? Or is that concern gone away? What are you thinking?
That concern is not gone. It's
100% still there.
Yeah, definitely stronger than, I don't know. I definitely feel stronger about there being mold than anything. He told us that, this is what he said whenever I told him that I was worried about the mold. He said, campers are built to be outside and they won't get mold. I said, what makes them not get mold? And he said, the materials they're made out of. And I was like, that does not make sense.
Yeah, he said the flooring was made out of, like, some composite laminate material or some bullshit like that. I really don't know. But I don't try.
So okay, well, and like I said before we got started, I'm hoping to give you a little bit of perspective and some things to think about.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure what you can do besides be the squeaky wheel. I would encourage you to document everything, put it in writing, whatever you do, put it in writing and create a list. Where did you buy the RV? What state? South Carolina?
Camping World in North Charleston and in South Carolina.
In Charleston.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And that was back in November of 24.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you want Camping World to do? I mean,
I originally wanted them to fix the ACs, but since they apparently can't do that in 100% confidence, I just want them to pay some dude or mold specialist or whatever to make sure that it's safe for my daughter to be in this camper at this point. Yeah. I couldn't even care less about the personal items that got destroyed because I know no matter how much bitching I do, they're not going to admit to that. They're not going to help me out at all. I'm going to have to threaten a lawyer or something to even get some kind of closure for that because they told me that it was all my fault that the water is there.
Yeah.
I'm not doubting you, but that just seems hard to believe. It's your fault about the water damage when they're the ones that didn't do the installation right.
My eyes got big and my jaw dropped whenever he said that, honestly. Like I was supposed to be the guardian of rainwater. I don't understand.
What advice would you give to others that are watching this video that have the same dream that you guys had? You know, we're going to check out, live in a nice RV and spend a lot of money.
Don't go to Camping World and don't get a Forest River.
Make sure you get the gap insurance and insurance.
That too.
Just in case, because without the warranties and without insurance, Camping World would have fisted us. I don't even know. I wish I would. I wish I would know what to look out for, so I didn't do stupid stuff like this.
Yeah, you know, I often ask. I've got a daughter that's probably a little bit older than you, and I always, her whole life, I asked her. I said, "What does a mistake feel like?" She said, "It feels bad." I said, "Then why do you do them?" I said, "A mistake really doesn't feel like anything until it's too late." And it sounds like with a lot of RVers, it's just simply too late. And there are, I believe, tons and tons of young people that. What did you think of that big American flag and how beautiful the store is outside? And what were your initial thoughts before you realized, 7 months later, 8 months later, what it was going to be?
Hopefully that they at least take care of their own, people. We're all Americans, and I was even in the military for 4 years. So, I mean, and they knew about that, and they knew that her grandpa was also in the military for longer than I've been alive. And they made him be on the title. He's like 90, and they made him be on the title because they did, for some reason, they just would not let me and Kayce own this camper. We have good.
Hey, Wayne, hang on, Kayce. You had to put a 90-year-old to sign it on the title?
Yeah, me and him have both great credit, like over 800.
Yeah, we have over 750 credits.
What they require. And they were like, well, since you're only 20 years old, we can't put you on it.
Did they make them sign the documents at all, or?
They made him sign every single document.
Yeah.
They wouldn't even tell us when they were signing documents. They only told him so he would come in.
Mm-hmm.
Whenever I asked about why we couldn't be on it, he said something about my background or my credit background not coming back. Whenever I know I have Credit Karma and everything, so I know I have over a 750.
Okay, this is what I have no idea. I hope I'm wrong with a lot of things. Just please, if you will send me your purchase documents, and I will never show them. I'll redact every single thing, but I want to see, because my gut tells me if they made a 90-year-old grandfather sign documents, they made him responsible. And I don't believe that he would know that he's responsible. And I'm no lawyer, but I would love to see those documents. And additionally, if you look in those documents, many people buy them because they trust Camping World. They trust that everything, hey, the American flag, they're the big, they put their trust in them.
Yeah.
But when you review the documents, I've got another one here somebody sent me. You review the documents, and there are optional charges, and they add, if they can, everything on. Those are very high profit items for the dealership. And I'd like to see, not only is your grandfather on the documents, but what kind of, I call it gouging, add-ons did they do? Gap protection paint, fabric, tire protection, the extended service protection plan. I would like to know that and then follow up with you. So I did not realize what you said, Kayce, about a 90-year-old person signing on the paperwork.
Mm-hmm. They had him go there at 9 a.m., like right when they opened, knowing we lived an hour away, that we couldn't get there at 9 a.m.
Do you think he knew it? Do you think he knows that he may be on the hook?
Probably not.
After everything that kind of happened, and I kind of talked to him about it, the only thing he said was that they're probably waiting for him to die so they could take the camper back.
They're what? I'm sorry.
They're probably waiting for him to die so they could take the camper back.
And so we can't contact them or anything anymore.
Yeah, so because all the warranties and everything are in his name, so we can't bitch about this not working or this not working if he's passed away.
Yeah, which is really unfortunate.
I'm sorry, but I'm trying to understand. So it's not even in your name. You're making the payments on it.
They wouldn't even let us co-sign.
Yeah.
They wouldn't even let us be like second in place on the title. They wouldn't let us at all.
At all.
God. That's a new one.
Yeah.
I don't know what exactly their plan was or why we couldn't. We both have great credit scores. I was buying the camper outright. It's not finance. I don't comprehend why they would do something like this and try to scam a 90-year-old man rather than a young couple.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I don't even know what to say. It just floors me. I was prepared for you to tell me about the flood you had, Wayne, about the air conditioner. But this to me seems like much more than
it's a bunch of
RV.
Small things. It's just a bunch of small things that make them like so scammy and like I don't even know words to put it.
They still have our screen door. Like we don't even have our screen door.
Yeah,
Camping World has our screen door.
They took our screen door because it keeps popping off. Like we couldn't even open and close it. It would just get locked while it's closed and then it would pop itself off. And he took our palm trees because we bought these $200 palm trees from the store and they stopped working after 1 month.
Yeah.
It's just a bunch of small.
Maybe you ought to call your grandfather and have him go down. I'm playing. I'm just kidding. It's just ridiculous. The customer service or lack thereof is just magnificent. I don't know how you can ignore people and continue to sell hundreds and thousands of RVs with customers sharing your story. And you do know that when this runs on YouTube, that people are going to go, they're just stupid. They're just, I believe that all of us, we don't know what we don't know. We make mistakes as we get older. At 20 years old, I make a lot of mistakes today. But I think that you're brave, as I say, you got courage in coming forward, and you need to shine the light of truth, like I said in my email. Tell your story.
in my mind, I mean, yeah, I am young, I am stupid, I don't know anything about campers. I really wanted something nice for me and my family. I mean, this is my first kid, and I really wanted to actually have my own place and not be one of those kids that still live with mom and dad at the time and everything. So I spent I wasted $100,000 on a really nice camper that I thought was going to be our home forever. Um, I, I truly thought this was going to be a lot better for us and kind of help us out a little bit more. But
If you had an opportunity to talk with Marcus Lemonis, the CEO at Camping World, what would you let him know? What would you say to him? Kayce, what would you start with you, and then Wayne, what would you say?
Honestly, he should really pay attention to who, I mean, I know he's not personally hiring them, but he should pay attention to who's actually a part of his company, and he should make sure that all customers are treated with the most outright respect and like bless you. And what's that word?
Wayne, what would you say? What would you say?
probably that he's a scam artist and that he needs to make things right. It's just, this has gone way out of hand, and there's way too many faults in this to even lie about there being a check or a run around or whatever they did, because they say they do a thorough check to make sure everything's working before they put it on the lot. Well, whenever it was on the lot, it wasn't plugged in or anything, so we couldn't test anything. We couldn't test washer and dryer and make sure it worked before we brought it here. And of course, they didn't whenever we did. Mm-hmm. It's just, it's bullshit. And more thorough checks, and to make things right with people that you do scam, not just every time they call the office. All we get now is, we'll call you back, and they hang up, and we never get a call back. We have to call them over and over and over and over again.
I am so sorry that you guys are going through this. I know how hard it is with, life's hard anyway. And then when you have somebody that doesn't do their end of the deal, and I don't know. I wish you the very best. And I like I said, I think you ought to document every stinking thing. You need to, if they don't answer, turn the other cheek, take the high road, say, I called on such and such a date, document everything. I'm not sure if you've thought about going to small claims court there in, Charleston. I'm sure has got a small claims court. And I think that you probably could do something there. I've been to small claims court, always won. It's been easy. I didn't have to get a lawyer. I'd caution you about getting a lawyer, because they're going to want their money, and they get paid for their time. I'm doing this, just because I want to try to help people, but they get paid to write a nasty letter. And you may think, oh yeah, we gave them $750. They're going to write a nasty letter, and they will. And Camping World's got a whole lot more lawyers than you do.
Yeah.
So I have been documenting everything, and I do have like cameras in the camper, so every time a mechanic has came over and done something, it has been recorded. Other than whenever they originally placed the AC units on the roof, and this pinkish red substance started leaking down the side of my the side of the camper, and it's starting to like rust the outside of the camper, and it's also messing up the
awning above the slide.
That, and you know how like the roof is like has this like fabric on it, kind of like a tarp.
Okay. Yeah, the material.
To, like, rip up that weird material on top of the camper. So I know we're gonna have another leak through the roof because of that weird substance that is on my roof right now due to them changing out the ACs. So we are documenting everything, and we're trying to keep a pretty accurate and our time accurate album of everything that's happened to this camper.
Have you got pictures of the flood? Pictures of the
I got a whole video of the flood.
Yeah.
Okay. Here's what I'd like, and then we can reconnect in hopefully not too distant future. But I'd love to see your purchase agreement if you feel comfortable with that. Again, I'm not going to share anything that's personal or private. I'd like to see some pictures. I don't want to have to go through and review tons and tons of videos, but if you got something short that is, wow, I can see what the issue happens to be. And I guess my final question, have you shown this, the pictures, the video, have you shown or attempted to show it to Camping World, and what have they said?
My lawyer advised me not to, and to only do word of mouth for now. And if it comes to that, my lawyer would take all the videos and pictures and try to start building a case with it. But of course, I don't want it to go that far. I know, because they give you this line whenever you tell them that you're going to talk to your lawyer about it. Once you mention a lawyer, we can no longer help you. Da, 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 da. So I didn't want to bring in a lawyer. I'm trying to do this Camping World's way, because it to me, I know it's going to be the shortest way. I do have a personal lawyer, so I've dealt with my personal lawyer a good amount, and I know it takes months to settle a case. I mean, it took 7 months just to settle a car wreck that I had. So I want to do this professional and just do it right, but they make it so difficult.
I'm not trying to be negative, but I'm trying to give you from my perspective.
Yeah.
Unless your family lawyer has prevailed with some kind of an RV situation like you've got, I'd be careful about giving them any more money. It's the RV industry. It's a weird animal. It's not a vehicle, and it's not a home. It's this gray area, and that allows dealers, bad dealers and manufacturers, to live in that gray zone. One of the things, I've heard it said that Camping World and the big chains, they live by the 3 Ds. They deny anything ever happened. They delay until you run out of steam, money, whatever. Deny, delay, and the last, they depose, which means you're going to have to start forking out a whole lot of money. And when you're a young couple and you're just trying to make a living, just trying to get by, they know that you're probably going to run out of money soon. So it's one of the tactics that companies use. It's not just Camping World. Other companies do it. They deny, they delay, then they depose. Let's see how much they want to play. And most people just go away. So I'm hopeful that this video will reach some people, that they will forward it to others that may be in your situation, that may be considering buying an RV, and listen to it with an open mind and an open heart, and not be too critical.
Yes, sir. I was told when we were in that waiting period for them to fix the ACs, I was told that they were trying to wait out the warranty. So whenever they would finally respond back with an answer, our warranty would be expired or whatever, because they only gave us, like, we have insurance and everything, but we only have like 1 year or 2 year warranty on like all the ACs, and like, you know how they give you a small like folder with multiple little warranties in it.
If you have not read your warranty, pull it out when we hang up. Pull it out and read that warranty, because it is not in favor of the customer. It's in favor of the manufacturer. So you do have a time limit. You have to file claims. There's certain things you have to do. And I want to see you guys either prevail or end up getting hurt as little as you have to get out of this thing. All you want is a place to raise your child.
Yeah.
That's truly all I want. I hope it will turn out better than this. I really did have a lot of faith in Camper World.
This story isn't just about water damage or bad repairs and terrible service. To me, it's about a loan that never should have happened. A young couple, a 90-year-old grandfather, a 20-year note on an RV he'll never use, and they'll probably never really own. So my question for you, if U.S. Bank had known the details of this arrangement up front, would they have approved it? Or would they have seen it for what it looks like to me, a straw man purchase? The couple trusted the process. They did. They didn't know any better, but they weren't just sold a trailer, they were sold a trap. So let me ask you this. Do you think what Camping World did was ethical? Should this deal have ever been made? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And if someone from Camping World wants to respond, I welcome that too. I really do. Now, if you're just beginning your RV journey, I want you to hear this loud and clear. Don't stop dreaming, but please slow down. Ask questions. Trust your gut. And Scan the QR code you see on the screen or click the link in the description down below. You'll find free resources to help protect yourself before you buy. If you like today's video, I hope you'll give it a thumbs up and leave a comment down below, especially if you've ever been in a similar spot. And please subscribe to the channel. Again, if you're looking for trustworthy RV dealers, lemon law help, or smart RV advice, you'll find it all on my resource page. Thank you for watching. I'm the RV Wingman. Be safe, have fun, play nice, and don't leave your good manners at home.